Hey, welcome everyone to a Chisholm Invitational Rewind. This is our first ever actual broadcast just to help high school teachers and those interested in high school education get a good snapshot of what this is all about. And today I'm joined by my co-host here, Hassan from Lenovo, who's been a fantastic partner with us and also is quite knowledgeable in the industry. He's had a few years, especially in ANZ, looking at a few different countries and how this is all coming together. Hassan, welcome.
Thanks very much, Mark. It's great to be here. Absolute pleasure.
Look, Hassan, today our topic is why high school esports. It's such a I guess a, a a big question for a lot of schools because it can be quite it's still a gray area. It's kind of like that uncharted ocean for a lot of different places, especially when it comes to having the technology, looking at behavior. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to unpack all of this. We've got a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
we've got a few weeks
Uh,
to do this. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, definitely. And look, esports as well, being a bit of an enigma, there's with gaming, essentially, there's a bit of a stigma inside education, because when you
Yeah.
look at gaming, it was kind of like, when you were too close to the TV, stop doing it or stop getting so close, it'll rot your brain, sort of
Yeah.
thing. And when I was playing games, my parents would be like, how come you're spending so much time playing games? Why don't you go out there in the sunshine and kick a ball and stuff? And I did kick a ball, but I got a lot of pleasure out of playing games as well. And as gaming's developed, it's become something more of a attractant to with routes to different things, as
Mm,
esports is expanding around the globe. And I
mm.
firmly feel, Australia's on the tipping point. So to get involved in this and to have a pragmatic approach is key for Australia's foundations, in esports.
Absolutely agree. I mean, I don't know about you, Haas, but I mean, in high school, I played a lot of sport as well, playing rugby, soccer, basketball, anything I could get my hands on. But at the same time, I mean, my dad introduced me to the Commodore 64. The old
Yeah.
school Jumpman, the 6-bit to 8-bit style of gameplay, just carried on through there. I mean, finding that healthy balance was hard as a teen. I mean, how about you?
Yeah, no, look, definitely the same as well. I mean, I played division rugby as well, and a lot of my mates, would play video games as well. So we'd be back, while we went and played comp, we'd come back and play Mario like there was no tomorrow. Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat, Street Fighter, and just sit there for hours on end, just taking each other out. One would win, the other one would win, but we'd still, keep the physical side of things active as well. And I think that some of the
Mm.
challenges around the stigma around gaming and now esports is that it detracts from quality of life, which is not the case, because as we've seen all around the globe, there's communities as well as opportunities in various different employment roles around
Yeah.
esports for a career.
Absolutely. I mean, would you say that esports is now actually turning into a way of life? I mean, with Twitch and live streams and all of these comps. I mean, we've seen a few high school comps around the place. I mean, would you say it's now becoming a part of a lifestyle for teens?
I think that would be 100% correct there, Mark, because you look at some of the streamers who depend on their livelihoods, from the streams that they
Yeah.
produce, as well as, people watching on YouTube and Twitch and other, other facets for, streaming. It's certainly something that, has started off as a hobby, and these people are now running their livelihoods on these.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a pre-stream chat, and the pre-stream chat we spoke about how much money a lot of these guys were making. Under 18 years old. That 15-year-old from the UK ranked number 3, and it was $1.3 million he earned last year. I mean, this is amazing.
It's absolutely crazy, the earning potential, especially when you're super good at your craft in whatever facet, goes next level. It really does. So it's mind-boggling at just some of the opportunities these guys have to actually earn.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at schools for a second, and let's have a look at how sport is in schools.
Hmm.
First of all, you save money in buses. Okay, that's a good thing. And then you look at how it's actually structured in schools. We have, I'm sure you'll remember, we have the division of gender, age group, and then we have the Div A, Div B teams, all those sorts of things. I think it's really important to highlight and to mention that within the esport framework, we look at having, an inclusive environment where you aren't necessarily, tiptoeing whether or not I have enough of my associated gender playing this specific platform. It's all about skill. What do you think about that?
Look, 100%, esports and gaming in general is 100% inclusive, regardless of age, regardless of gender, and regardless of game type as well. Because you've got some games, where it's, things like KD ratio and response times, but then you've got League, which is all about strategy and not necessarily about, response times, but more about skill and playing to your characters and team strength. So to wrap it all up in under one umbrella is wrong, but certainly esports and gaming in general is for everyone. There is no boundaries. There is no, there shouldn't be any way, people should detract people, from playing. It's all about nurturing and all about growing together.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, that's the whole purpose and the reason why we're here today, I guess. I think you would agree, is to provide that information or just provide that platform, just even have those discussions that some people probably wouldn't even have thought of those questions to ask. So we're here to answer those questions and to help out the best we can, so that everybody is on the same platform and is open and honest, so everybody can be a part of such a beautiful thing. Like we were saying before, that you were mentioning League of Legends, that is a great game for the 5v5. I mean, I was listening to a podcast this morning from the global partnerships director from Riot, and who she was saying that this is not dissimilar to traditional sport, considering the strategy that goes into it, the planning, the analytics, the looking at actually crunching numbers in your spare time to get better. And the great thing I find with High School Esports is I can instantaneously find out my positioning, how well I'm playing, and who I'm going to be up against next, or my best matchups next for my next game straight away. Check out my profile. I know where I am. I know where I stand. Whereas in conventional sport, I would have to wait for my feedback from my coach. And that, lag time, you build that respect with the coach. I get that. I understand that. But I mean, being able to have those numbers in front of you and being able to crunch that as fast as possible, I think it's priceless. I mean, you're getting young high school students to actually absorb that information. And we've been talking about, what was it, for the last 5 years, about fast twitch, muscle memory, and we've been talking about absorbing all of this information, 5-6 times faster than we would have done in high school. I'm talking for all of us just before the millennials. It's we're talking about that age group here. It's amazing. I think for them to absorb that much information in such a short amount of time and encouraging that, I think is really important.
Yeah, no, agreed. And look, I literally during the Chisholm Invitational, I was blown away at the level of strategy, like some of the casters, like Ginger Kid and Chiwai were talking about, with regards to plays, with regards to, who they thought were MVPs and why, and, things like pentakills popping up as well as, one-shotting everyone and the stats that would pop up instantaneously. I mean, you've got to have video cameras and AI analytics for a game of AFL to even replicate something like that, or in NRL, right? But to your point, they're getting this information immediately, instantaneously post game, and they know where they stand and they know where they need to refine their skills to be able to play more effectively as the character they've chosen, essentially.
Yeah, and another thing I saw, Riot Games posted, I think it was last week. In future podcasts, I'm sure we're in this section up here, we'll put some pictures up of what we're talking about. But Riot Games, I think it was 2 weeks ago, posted up a really cool image of introducing different cultures and looking at people from different areas of identified race within their games and how they're actually incorporating that into their lore structure and including everyone together. I thought was so great. You have characters like Echo, you have characters like Senna, strong, independent black woman. You have all of these characters coming together in the same space. And there's no discrimination between the two or three or four, however many. It's so great to be instilling those morals and values into kids. I think I've made my point. I think I'm pretty much for high school esports here.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you look at movies that actually exemplify that. I mean, look at Ready Player One. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it about 30 times. You know,
Yeah,
people
wow.
people playing who they feel they are rather than who they actually are. You know, and personifying themselves with their strengths. You know, that movie blew me away. And for people to be able to come out of their shell, you know, and play different characters. And look, to be
Yeah.
completely honest with you, I play a game called Monster Hunter,
Oh,
and
right.
I used to play, and this is on PlayStation, and I played as a male character, and I'd find that I'd be too brutish as a male character. I changed my character to female, and now I
Hey,
play more
nice.
strategically because every time, every time I get attacked by a monster, I'm like, oh no, you know, instead of get up there and attack again. So it's really important. It's really important to understand that gaming is not necessarily about who you think you are, it's who
Yeah.
you feel you are. And out of understanding that, you grow so much it's not funny.
Yeah, there's no like attached stereotype, is there? Is it, if I want to play that someone has a great spell kit or has a great play style that I'm really interested in, I'm not going to be biased because it's this big burly man. I'm going to jump in because I like the way they play. I like the story behind them. I can relate to that character despite where they come from. I think it's really interesting. And there was a part of an interview a couple of weeks ago. There was a shot with the current affair there. They had a story, and please don't get me wrong, that's not a plug. They had a story about a young boy on the Gold Coast, Australia, who was taking the year off senior studies to go overseas to play video games as a career. Now, that sounds crazy to start with, right? I mean, 10, 15 years ago when they had, I'm sure some of you will remember, Mortal Kombat used to actually have this big screen, like a material screen over the top of it because it was rated R18. And kids would still, sneak under and play and put the coins in. The time zone lock-in sessions, and they would compete, and that became the basis for that. But what I'm getting to is that when they're overseas and they're taking these risks, we don't bat an eyelid to basketball or to football. I mean, I had this idea, and I was planning for it last night, and I was looking at the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association in the States. And they released these really good statistics where I thought were really important, especially for this topic, for when we talk about the opportunities for high school students. And I'm just going to read these out to you. I've got them here. The NBA, right? So the NBA, National Basketball Association, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, all of those people, right? These idols that we look up to. I've got a pair of Air Jordans and they're not ashamed to say it. Love them. We have, here it says, a high school senior player is eventually drafted to the NBA team, providing they get there. They're looking about 3 in 10,000, right? That's 0.03%. That's low. That's real low.
Yeah, very low. Very low.
And that's going up against people with a lot of skill. All right, okay. NFL. So NFL team, we have about what is it here? High school senior players eventually drafted by an NFL team, about 9 in 10,000. So that's 0.09%. So if I'm a high school kid, I'm tall, I am coordinated, which I am not. I am on the basketball team, and I'm gonna play. I have 0.09% of actually making it into a professional career. Interesting. So let's have a look and continue to debunk that myth that there's no opportunity in esports. Well, I think it's easier to say there's no opportunity when we don't know what else is involved. So let's have a look at that. So there's an article by Psychology Today, very easy to look up. Just check it into Google, you'll find it. They're saying here that people have 1 in 10,000 chance. So that's 0.01% chance to be a successful esports pro player. Okay, that's interesting. But what it does continue to say is that this doesn't include the wider area of esports. So that doesn't look at casting. That doesn't look at future games being released. So for instance, let's say Monster Hunter, fighter game, right? Pretty sure you play it. I'll jump on with you. Let's go. But at the same time, it's not including that. And the great thing about the industry is that it's constantly releasing titles that students will want to be a part of. Now, schools will instantly say, hang on a second, that's something else I need to think about. That's something else I need to prepare for, but not really. There's a lot of places out there that you can register with, or even within your teacher groups, to have a chat to others to say, hey, listen, are you interested in this? Let's work on this together. I think that's a great thing to think about. So let's have a look at that broader side of things that I was talking about here. So look, content creators, live streamers, analysts, music production, education, coaching, management, business, hospitality, arts and entertainment, marketing. There is so much in this page.
Yeah.
Right here that I just go, why not? There's so many areas and opportunities for these young kids to get involved in this industry that you would be mad to not even have a look, give it a look in.
And Australia's on the tipping point, right, Mark? Australia's on the cusp of booming. You look at Southeast Asia, you look at CAP, you look at EMEA, you look at North America, it's booming there. Like the competitions that they're running and the arenas of kids that are turning up to like the Intel Masters and so forth is insane. Australia hasn't even hit tipping point yet. We're on the cusp. So schools, in my opinion, need to understand and have an awareness of what's actually happening.
Absolutely.
Because if they're not putting down the foundations to nurture and grow esports, what's going to happen is there's going to be fragmentation. Students are going to do their own things. There's going to be external parties, who will start to see the opportunity in growing this. And not only will schools maybe miss out, but what'll happen is it won't be moderated effectively, because school is the perfect environment, for this to be done in a very safe, approachable and nurturing way. When it's done by external organizations or groups or entities, there's a lot of challenges that come with that, because when it's not moderated effectively, communication, colorful styles of communication, as well as elements of segregating people for various things, race, etc. It becomes pretty toxic. Me being in games for so long, I manage a couple of really large Facebook groups. Up to 9,000 people as part of those groups.
Nice.
And we really have to moderate people's behaviors in those, when looking for people to play with, because, and down the bottom end of the scale of things, people saying, no trash players is something that really needs to be stamped out, because there are people who are starting who to these people might fit in that trash category, but everybody started at one stage or another at the very bottom, and it's all about helping people through, helping them understand that levels of toxicity and even managing things like students' digital footprint, inside the world of gaming, because a lot of this stuff's getting recorded now, is really important, and giving students not only the opportunity to grow at their own pace, but be shielded from all of this colorful behavior, as I like to call it.
Absolutely, and shameless plug, this will be recorded and you can watch it later too. Now, you can, something I wanted to mention that you said about these groups and having, it went from, what did it go from, the title noob, then to, I think it was noob, then just dumb, to trash, God knows where it's going to go after that, not interested. But World of Warcraft, I'm a World of Warcraft player, I have played since launch, all those sorts of things. Let's do it. For the Horde, if you're Alliance, don't talk to me. Now, World of Warcraft.
Orange Shaman, FYI.
Hey, let's go. Now, World of Warcraft in Shadowlands, which is the new expansion pack that's coming out soon. Very much awaited. Really good to, happy to see Battle for Azeroth leave, but not going to go there. So they're releasing a new system, and it's called the Guide system. So you need to have achieved a certain level of Mythic, what's called Mythic Plus Dungeons. So you need to go through this really difficult process, achieve this, get this achievement, and then with that achievement, you need to have got a certain amount of hours within a certain area with reputation. Right. So as a player, you are proving that you are not trash. Yeah. So you can get this buff called the Helper buff. I think they're going to change, this is still in beta, so I think they're going to change the title of that. But this is to encourage players to stop being toxic. This is to encourage players to actually maintain that safe, healthy space for them to be a part of. This is great. I think it's it's a way forward, and especially Blizzard, Activision as a company, with a lot of the flack that may have come last year. That's okay. That's last year. Moving forward is what we're interested in. Some of these things is just so great. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. And, Activision as well as Bungie inside Destiny,
Mm,
they've put in game mechanics as well to actually help newcomers, or what we call noobs,
yeah.
and getting rewarded for it. Because, going back to the inclusivity piece, Mark, a lot of game developers are understanding that, the games they develop, especially, in large open world environments and social environments, should be a place that people go to without any fear of being, called out for their level or just being beginners. And, in a lot of games that we play, World of Warcraft, Destiny, Monster Hunter, when we see, a
Mm,
newcomer, we actually want to help them, So that's
yeah.
that's something that's changing inside the world of gaming, And you'll
Yeah.
see hosts of streams out there, where you've got some of the top streamers who have the best, KD ratios as well as the best scores in games, helping out 5-year-old kids in Fortnite, and not only helping them out, by helping them win matches, but then giving them
Mm,
credits as well. So it
yeah.
goes a long way,
Mm,
to leave an impression like that on a younger player or a person who's new to the game. And, that does the world of difference, not only for them, but for the community. So seeing game
mm,
developers actually
mm.
implement those kind of game mechanics inside that environment just speaks volumes for the way everything's slowly starting to change, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, as schools, I can't condone to schools to say, "Hey, listen, jump on and get the 30-year-old to help you." No, 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 no. What I am saying, what I am saying, well, I guess what I'm agreeing to, I'm not saying I am agreeing with you here, is that developing a community that helps each other is crucial, not just to a school, but to moving this forward in a direction where we all want it to go. I
Mm.
mentioned at the very beginning that it's a gray area. Basically, you are sailing off into waters that are uncharted. Well, partly charted because there are people like yourself, Hassan, who are gamers and being a part of companies that really do value that consumer experience, and also the young people as well in education, how they're moving forward in a constructive manner. It's important for us to look at how this is changing future for these kids. It is all about these kids in high school esports and building that culture. So going back to that inclusivity is key. We in schools, are pulling kids up for bullying. No one likes a bully. I don't like a bully. I'm sure you don't like a bully. I'm
No.
sure the stream team back there don't like bullies. Hey guys, those sorts of things. This is this area, this looking at the behavior management. Riot Games introduced a behavior management system called the honor rating system, and whereby people are given honor points to get to honor level 5. They do something wrong, they get knocked down to honor level 1. Too bad, so sad.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, I completely agree with that, and I completely am on board with that. The more that we keep these people accountable for these actions, the more we start to stamp out that, and I'm going to say it, the stupidity that's online, that we don't necessarily want to, nor should we be seeing with our kids.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think schools will be pleasantly surprised, when they do start their foray or their journey into esports, Mark, and they set up environments. They will see students come out of the woodwork who have been playing some of these games for years. And there's a mentoring opportunity for those students as well. And outside of, the honor system inside games or assistance systems inside games, what schools can actually encourage and implement is a mentor system where, we had a particular school, and this was a story that was shared to us by one of the departments. We had a particular school where there was a special needs student who, once they implemented Minecraft, this child who didn't even interact with any students but had been playing Minecraft in all of his spare time and was an absolute wizard, was now the mentor for the entire year grade for Minecraft, right?
Wow, that's
And he
so cool.
and he
So cool.
found his place in being able to mentor other students, right? So
Yeah.
these are the opportunities that can come out if applied effectively, and it needs to be pragmatic. And honestly, there's not a plug for Chisholm or anything, but you guys have done an amazing job
Thank you for
of
saying
giving students an environment to share, collaborate, coordinate, communicate, and grow together. And it was just really evident in the invitational. It blew me away.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, again, we're not here to plug us, but definitely when you see that, I'm more than happy to chat and to assist people on that journey. And I'm sure Haas, you're in the same category there too.
Indeed. And you heard the students talk about it, right, Mark? It wasn't anybody. It wasn't anybody plugging anyone. It was the students actually talking about it, And even the announcers were bouncing off one another, So it was just, when you create an environment like that and you see the reaction as well as the excitement and genuine desire of involvement from the students, and then everything post, I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I've mentioned this a few times, when we look at students who aren't physically able to compete in any sport, really do shine with esports and the digital competitive platform. I like to say the digital competitive platform because essentially that's what it is. It's a platform where you are competing and it's digital. I use a language when we're talking about games that is a platform, that is a title of that game. So for instance, this is a League of Legends team. This is not an esports team. This is a Rocket League team. Because I mean, you wouldn't say to LeBron James, "Hey, do you play sports?" What's it's kind of like, okay, well, whatever team he's a part of now. I mean, I was great when he was in Miami Heat, but whatever, man. But it's about that as well. I mean, I have seen students enlist that aren't actually physically able to compete or to run on a track, that have loved and have aspired to be a part of a team, that they were given this opportunity and they have just shined. I mean, there was a particular team, and I won't go into specifics for privacy, obviously, but there was a team that one gentleman was unable to participate, and the rest of the rugby team joined in to help him out. Now, let's just say you could identify who the best player was, right? Other ones running in circles, but this other guy had a great time. And that's, again, those opportunities are priceless. You can't put money on that, and you can't you can't create a strategic plan for that, really, because essentially those kids will come to you and you'll actually also be so surprised with how many staff will come to you. I mean, I have 7 staff with me at the moment, and my oldest producer in front of me is 14. So with the stream team, so here we go. This is all essentially what a school can make, and this is essentially what we can actually do moving forward. And I think moving forward in the right direction, to make everything a safe, positive, and a educational space for our kids.
Yeah, no, definitely. And look, just reflecting on that, you have school musicals, Stedfords, you have all these people who are brought a part of the team and who bring it together. And then when you get to finals or you do a performance, there's that sense of appreciation that comes with it as well. And esports is no different. The implementation of these kind of programs inside schools delivers so much more than just somebody sitting there playing a game. The production that can come out of it, as well as end performance and everybody going, wow, that was phenomenal, provides a sense of not only self-satisfaction but appreciation and group achievement, and that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, look at, again, I know I speak a lot about Riot Games, but I mean, wow, they're leading with a lot of different areas here. We look at the opening of Worlds. We look at, bands called KDA and True Damage, where you have rap and you have dancing, you have all this choreographed stuff. They're very easy for a dance program to pick up and go, hey, I want to use this as an assessment item. And essentially you have embedded the idea of esports into your curriculum. Fantastic. It's there. They can do it. It's so easily accessible. It's catchy. It looks great. And I can't wait for the new skins that are coming out in about a month's time. So we'll see how we go. But Has, this has been a fantastic opportunity, I think, for us to speak about why high school esports. And I hope that we've produced some content here that will assist you with your conversations, will assist you, when I say you, the person who's watching, to actually start to think about constructively how to move this forward. And also as well, maybe to reevaluate what you think this could be. We're so open to questions and we are so happy. And again, I am super duper excited to unpack all of this in weeks to come, and bring on some other guests as well. Has, some of the guests that are going to come, and man, I'm excited. Woo, yeah, no, it's going to be good. So any last words, Has?
No, I just think, schools should seriously consider, implementing it or even just investigating, because it can deliver a whole bunch, not only for students, but for educators and career opportunities and just general growth.
Absolutely. So this is Hassan from Lenovo, and I am Mark from Chisholm. Thank you so much for signing in or watching our recording. Please don't make memes, and I will see you next time.